Hello and welcome to another episode of Colgart's Miniatures, where today I'll be showing you how I made these docks or shoreline things for Black Seas. A very similar process of how I made the rocks and things. I'll get the cardboard cutouts, make an outline on this foam core and cut them out. Remove one side of the foam core of this paper so we can make some textures and glue things onto it easier. And now we've got to bevel the edges, which will be close to the water. We'll leave that straight line flat and normal how it is, but this main bit jutting out for the dock, we will shave it quite close to the bottom. Now I raid my corks for making the rocks and boulders. You can also use bark, which is fantastic, or rock molds if you have them. Gluing them with the super glue in position, and we shall also use some basing glue to glue down the sand. So for the docks, I use a popsicle stick and some toothpicks. Just mark out where you want it to start and end, as well as clipping off the tip. And just make some scoring marks in it. This will make the wood grain. Once that's done, I just chop up the toothpicks. These will be glued onto the side of the popsicle stick and then stuck down to the foam. It's a little bit fiddly. I've used PVA glue, but super glue might have been a better choice. This allows you to just sort of move everything to make sure it is level when you stick it down. And once that's done, we can put some more glue at the bottom of the sticks, and we will put sand there. This will create, or can create, like a splashing texture. You can also do this with any water effects you might have. Once they're all dry, we can hit it with a black undercoat, mix in with a little bit of PVA just to seal everything in. Now that they're all dry, we can carry on with some painting. I'll start off by doing the sand, which I will use Vallejo's Old Wood. dabbing the bits of sand there so we can get a nice coating on, and as well go underneath the rocks. Next we'll use a sort of a dark blue. I think this is a Kantor blue. We will be painting all the rocks and the base colour of the sea. Once that's all done, we'll get some dark green. There's a castellan green. We'll paint sort of the sections of the rocks which are close to the water, and as well the posts of the dock. And using a lighter shade of green, just touch on the bits where are like higher, maybe above the water, and just to bring out the green a little bit more. Next I'll use some scrag brown just to paint little specks within the sand and bring up some of the other areas in the rock. highlight these rocks and the stones, I'll be using dawnstone. The weather was a bit odd today, as these bright shining lights keep bursting through my windows. Must have been the scenery gods blessing my work. Now to highlight the water a little bit, I'll be using, I think it's called altdorf guard blue. And for the water, you want to sort of stipple it on, make these sort of like dabs and sort of wave patterns, just to make that water effect a bit more realistic. So you can layer this up as much as you want. I'm going to use galgar blue for another touch of highlighting. I'll be layering up the white quite a few times, and do this whilst the paint is a little bit wet, so the sort of blend between the white and the blue is a bit more seamless. I just add a touch of kislev flesh to the bits of stone. I go over this later as some parts were a bit too bright for me, but it just adds another dynamic to the bits of scenery. Yep, using a mix of eshin grey, dawnstone grey, adding all these bits of highlighting and just touching up on all the little bits. I'll be using a mix of browns for the docks. I use a mournfang brown for the base, but you can use any brown you like, whatever takes your fancy really. And yeah, just keep layering it up, getting all those high bits with the lighter colours. We will be going with a little wash over it just to get all those little cracks which we've made shaded, and then we'll be going back over them with another highlight. So there's some parts of the sand bits here which are just too thick with colour. There's no sort of shading going on. So I'm just doing a quick little wash, and we'll be highlighting over it later again. I'll be using white scar and dotting little bits of white specks all the way along where the water will meet the ground. And going back to the guard blue, we'll just be painting a blue line all the way along the piece. And finally we shall add some flocking to the islands. Now this will really bring the piece together and add another level of vibrancy to it. And as the paints have sort of dried, it has gone a bit darker, so I'm going over again with another white scar highlighting. This time doing a few more waves, a bit more detailing, and you can go as far as with this as you want. I will be in the future adding some water effects to these pieces. And with that we'll just do some more highlighting, and they are finished. Some relatively good and cheap looking terrain. There's some action shots for you. Put some ships by them to see what the scale looks like. And yeah, thank you for watching another episode of Colgart's Miniatures. These have been featured in my second episode of the solo campaign. I hope you guys have enjoyed and have a wicked day. See you next time.